Producing over 500 hours per week of talk radio, GCN Live is a world leader in talk radio. Archives for the following program can be found at gcnlive.com.
The stocks discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering on acting on information, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice.
What kingdom has sent you?
The kingdom of the Most High.
Nothing you have ever experienced can prepare you for the unbridled carnage you're about to witness. Super Bowl, the World Series, they don't know what pressure is. In this building, it's either kill or be killed. You make no friends in the pits and you take no prisoners. 1 minute, you're up $500,000 in soybeans, and the next, boom, your kids don't go to college and they've repossessed your Bentley. Are you with me?
The Genesis Communication Network is proud to bring you Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week elf, Mark Leibovit, welcoming you on board his financial time machine. And here is the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's Mark Leibovit, and welcome to Wall Street Raw. As I mentioned in a previous broadcast, I had been in Vancouver for the World Outlook Conference, and we'll continue to be on the road here, so we're doing more of a generic broadcast. I invite all of you to attend the Traders Expo in New York. It's at the Marriott Marquis Hotel between February 20th and 23rd. I will be presenting 2 workshops there and exhibiting. So if you're in the East Coast, New York area particularly, check out the Traders Expo. I believe there's no admission charge, and there are a lot of lectures besides mine on the market and on technical analysis. And after that, still on the road, headed down to Orlando for the Money Show, which runs between March 2nd and March 5th. Same scenario. I have a couple of workshops at the Money Show. It will be at the Disney Contemporary Hotel, doing a exhibit as well. So a lot of interesting guests there, some big name guests. So well worth your time if you're in Florida and or in the Southeast, and it's worth getting down to the Money Show. Many people do travel quite a distance for the Money Show. So Traders Expo, February 20th to 23rd in New York at the Marriott Marquis Hotel in Times Square, and the Money Show in Orlando at the Disney Contemporary Hotel, March 2nd to 5th. So check that out. For more information on my services, of course, vrtrader.com. That's V as in Victor, R as in Robert, trader.com, or WallStreetRaw.com will get you to a series of pages describing our newsletters. VR Platinum covers the overall market plus individual recommendations and trading recommendations. VR Silver, just general commentary. We have our VR Gold letter, which covers gold. As you know, has been real hot here recently, and I've been talking about this for many, many weeks, that we were setting the stage for a move in gold, which on and off I think should continue this year, possibly into next year. Of course, there's going to be trading swings. We have our Vice letter, which you hear mentioned in the commercial breaks, which basically covers gaming stocks, which started to move recently. We have the alcohol stocks. We have tobacco, and, of course, the new cannabis stocks mentioned in the Vice letter. So an interesting product there, and in an area that's awfully volatile and, potentially very profitable on a trading basis. And we have our VR Forecaster, which I want to mention in particular. It just released. This is our forecast model for 2016. It's available at vrtrader.com. It's an annual report, and basically are little charts that sketch out from a cyclical perspective what I see in 2016 for the Dow Jones, crude oil, gold, treasury bonds, natural gas, and so forth. So nothing's 100%, but we had a good record with this over the years. Frankly, we've been publishing the forecaster report report since 1987, believe it or not. Been a long time. And it comes out annually. It is available now. There is a 20% discount. So please check out the forecaster at the vrtrader.com website as well. That's another one of our very interesting products. I don't mention it too often, but I'll mention it now. Of course, we're technical analysts. I have a volume reversal indicator, ticker symbol VR, I guess is, if you don't understand volume reversal, that's VR is our trademark tool. And basically it's a tool that you can use for trading purposes. I use it, have been using it for many, many years. It is now available on 3 stock market platforms, and I don't know how many of you are technically oriented, have charts in front of you, or subscribe to various charting services. There's a whole host of them available, but 3 in particular are the ones I work with. One is Metastock, one is eSignal, which you may recall has been a recent sponsor of the show, and TradeStation. So if you go to any of those 3 platforms, eSignal, Metastock, or TradeStations, and sign up and become a user of that platform, you can also access my VR indicator, the volume reversal indicator. And what the VR indicator is, and this is what I go into in New York and Orlando at the workshops, is basically a tool that triggers buy and sells in the market based on the movement of volume in individual stocks. So if, for example, I get a positive volume reversal in a stock or an index, that usually gives us a buy, and we jump in for a trade. It could be for a couple days, could be for a longer period of time, but we do take a shorter-term perspective. In the case of gold, for example, which is showing more of a near-term move based on cyclical patterns, we would stay with it a bit longer. In fact, we just took a very nice profit in one of our gold ETF positions on this big run that we've just seen in the gold market, though we are trading it continually on the long side because of the intermediate trend, which I still see higher. But the VR is a signal and works on the downside as well, and that's one of the keys that got us short the market and bearish on the market here in recent months. We've been warning about a big decline in the market, and we warned that the August lows would come out, which occurred, and there was no great secret here. Just looking at the sell patterns over the last year in the market, you could see the market was deteriorating and smart money was exiting the market. So how do I know that? I'm looking at the volume pattern, the negative volume patterns coming in on the indexes, and you can do this yourself. If you go to Metastock, eSignal, TradeStation, and sign up, and you put up your favorite stocks or your indexes, and you get a sense of what I'm looking at, and you can do it on a daily basis, on a daily chart, a weekly chart, a monthly chart, and many of these patterns are pretty clear. This is not like it's a great secret here. You know, we're not reinventing the wheel. We're looking at what basic things happen in the market. Many of these insights I garnered as a floor trader on the Chicago Board Options Exchange, as appears a lifetime ago, and as a market maker down there and watching the volume patterns in the market. So those are available to you, and I encourage you to do so. I usually introduce the show and talk about my background a little bit. As you may recall, I am a former elf on the old Louis Rukeyser Wall Street Week television program, and I'm a former market monitor guest on PBS's Nightly Business Report with Paul Kangas. Did that for 30 years, believe it or not. So a lot of experience on the air with these big shows and meeting a lot of interesting people. Also remind you about my book, The Trader's Book of Volume, which you can access through our website, or you can go to Amazon. In fact, if you meet me in one of these conferences, I autograph the books for you if you happen to attend the Traders Expo in New York or the Money Show in Orlando. But The Trader's Book of Volume is more or less an encyclopedia of all the volume indicators, with an emphasis, of course, on my volume reversal tool. So I would encourage you, if you want to learn more about the way I look at the markets, again, it's called The Trader's Book of Volume, and it is available on the major websites, and particularly Amazon. As far as guests today, we're going to interview my good friend Sinclair No. He's with us, and we're going to hear from Paul Langley, again from I Insure Me. So both are going to be with us on the show today. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about the doom and gloom scenario for 2016, though it appears the market may be trying to hit a little bit of a short-term bottom here. We're going to go over some of the catastrophic things that could happen in 2016. So stay tuned.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@GCNlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@GCNlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market. The gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't take on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
Winter has just begun, and are you already tired of being cold? How would you like to never be cold again? This is Dale with Fortress Clothing, and I'm here to tell you, you will never be cold again with Fortress. If you're tired of freezing your butt off, elk hunting, sitting in a tree stand, deer hunting, winter camping, fishing, ice fishing, no longer fear the cold. If you snowmobile, ski, snowboard, get Fortress. Sledding with the kids, shoveling the walks, shopping, or if you or your spouse get cold feet at home, get Fortress. If you're stuck outside working in the cold or find yourself in an emergency situation, get our winter bug-out bag, and you will never be cold again. Fortress is the answer, so quit complaining and go to FortressClothing.com. It's a mid-layer garment that goes with anything you want to wear. Enter coupon code RADIO and get 20% off any item. Go now while we still have inventory. FortressClothing.com.
Are your Google search results killing you? Unflattering content in blogs, news articles, online reviews, social media, or other sources can jeopardize your reputation, your business, and your livelihood. Let Reputation.com help. Our patented technology will make the truth about you more visible while pushing down unwanted negative content. Improve your Google search results. Call Reputation.com at 1-800-831-0771 for a free consultation. That's 800-831-0771.
Think positive. Never show any sign of weakness. Always go for the throat. Buy low, sell high. Fear, that's the other guy's problem.
Welcome back to the Wall Street Raw Radio Show with Mark Leibovit, your time machine for the financial markets. Want to know more? Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com. Now, here's the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Welcoming back my good friend Sinclair No from KFNN 1510 Phoenix and author of the blog EatTheBankers.com. Sinclair, thanks for joining us on the Saturday morning.
Well, thank you, Mark. Always a pleasure.
The list is so long, as usual, what's going on in the state of the world. I guess the big story that still I think we've talked about before is the risk of negative interest rates. We saw Sweden nosedive into negative interest rates in the last week or so. We know Japan has done it recently. Of course, we've known Europe has been in that case, in Germany, and Yellen was before Congress discussing, I believe, that she didn't believe she had ability or power to do that, but the markets are the ultimate judge. What's your read on that situation?
Well, we're seeing negative interest rates breaking out all across the globe. Germany, Switzerland, Denmark, Japan, Sweden. So the idea that it could happen in the United States, worthy of consideration. Now, the idea behind negative interest rates is that it forces the banks to put the money back into circulation. They lend that money out rather than just park it, because you park it and you have to pay for parking that money in the bank. The idea is that it'll stimulate business. It'll create a little juice for commerce. That hasn't been the truth, though. What happens is when rates turn negative, people tend to hoard their cash.
They become fearful.
Sure. And it's a deflationary environment as well, which means that anything you buy today, well, it's just going to be cheaper tomorrow because we've got deflation.
The banks drove interest rates to zero in the hope that that would be accomplished as well. So, like you're saying, if it goes to negative, what would be the difference except just creating more possible fear, panic, and hoarding? You're right.
Yeah, actually, you look at all this and negative interest rates and, QE 1, 2, 3, 4, who knows how many times we're going to see it. You really have to wonder, maybe it did do something coming out of the crisis of 2008. Maybe it helped to avoid a complete meltdown. But really, what has it done beyond that? Slow growth at best is all you can attribute to ZIRP or NIRP now, negative interest rate policy, and all the QE that the central banks have thrown at the markets. Some people have gotten quite rich off of it, but for the majority of the world, it's just meant nothing but very, very slow growth.
And look at the bond market and the Treasury yields. I mean, nobody predicted this. The discussion in the last 2-3 years was rates are going up, get out of bonds, and just the opposite has happened. And I take a little credit for being bullish on bonds the last year or two, but it just seemed to me it was a flight to safety, that the Fed couldn't do what they really said they were going to do, or they would have to possibly initiate a QE4. And sure enough, bonds into new highs yesterday. What do you make of this?
Well, hey, look at it this way. Who would have thought that buying into an index of Japanese government bonds or Swiss government bonds would have returned 6% so far in 2016? But that's exactly what happened as rates went negative. Of course, rates go down, price goes up. So it would have been a good play. Nice call, Mark. Well done.
Well, not taking credit for that as much as just reflecting the state of the world and the economy. It's to me a clear flight to safety as well, and in the market that everybody thought was going to stock market that was going to go up forever.
I think that's a key point. We've seen this flight to safety in part because nobody's quite sure where to hold a long position these days. We're seeing some problems with the banks, especially the European banks. We've seen a real breakdown in Deutsche Bank. We've seen a big breakdown in Santander and Credit Suisse, Societe Generale, some of the real big ones over in Europe. And you just have to wonder how bad it will get over there and if it will spread to the U.S. I mean, that really is the question. Is this weakness across the globe going to drag down the U.S., work in the U.S. economy? And there's been a little bit of strength in the U.S. economy, not great. The same sluggish growth that we've seen for a while, but would that be enough to lift up the rest of the world?
And the U.S. dollar, which had been so strong, has started to back off here a little bit, which might be a plus because of the earnings of U.S. corporations offshore. So there might be some light at the end of the tunnel with that.
It might be. We've certainly seen some lows. We've seen some lows in the stock market. We've seen some lows certainly in oil. Now, can it go lower? Of course it could. But we've hit some lows now. Let's see if we can bounce. Let's see if those lows can hold and really provide some support from here. If they don't, there's a long, long way to fall. You look back on those charts and tell me where the next level of major support is. It's hard to find.
But so much of what's happened in the oil business has been a little bit of conspiracy on the part of OPEC, controlling prices and driving them lower. So will that change? That's the key.
Well, that's another big point. We used to see a fear premium priced into oil when there was conflict in the Middle East. Now everybody's getting drawn into it, and they almost have to produce oil in order to keep their national budgets going. Saudi Arabia is talking about becoming more involved in Syria now. Can they stop producing oil, or do they have to continue producing all out in order to maintain their military budget? That's my guess.
And if we do see a reversal in oil, that seemed to help the stock market in recent months, where the two markets seem to have been tracking together. So we'll see if that pattern unfolds. Though I hate to tie markets together, a surge in oil helps oil stocks, and so much of the U.S. economy is based on oil. So that will be an interesting event if that unfolds.
I think we're getting to the point, though, where if it goes on much longer, and I think it will go on for a while longer, you're going to see a lot of these oil companies start to fall by the wayside. We've already started to see quite a bit of weakness there.
Sinclair, thank you so much for joining us again on the Saturday morning. Sinclair No, author of the blog EatTheBankers.com and financial commentator KFNN Phoenix. It's always a pleasure, Sinclair. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you again, Sinclair, for joining us. My guest, Paul Langley, will be up in just a moment on segment 3. And as I mentioned at the top of the hour, we're going to go through relatively quickly a pessimist guide of the world in 2016. So we're going to go through really quickly on our segment 4. All kinds of potential scenarios out there, including if Donald Trump gets elected president, what happens if crude oil suddenly surges to new highs, what if the UK suddenly decides to leave, not suddenly, they've been talking about leaving the European Union, issues like that. So cyber risks during the course of the year, and very interesting, not to say these things are going to happen, but we've already learned that a lot of outlier events affect the market. So stay tuned, and we'll be back with you with Paul Langley on our segment 3.
WallStreetRawRadio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. At WallStreetRaw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market crash, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of the Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free weekly Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free Gold News Raw report. You will receive both weekly, and both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you, too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
What would your life be like if you woke up each morning with new vitality, feeling better than you have in years, and you noticed a difference in your sleeping patterns, blood sugar levels, and had a sense of well-being overall? There's something that is changing thousands of people's lives, and you could be one of them. It's called Heart and Body Extract. Sharon Harris, co-creator of Heart and Body Extract, talks about the positive effects of Heart and Body Extract.
What happens with the formula Heart and Body Extract is it's giving the body the necessary vitamins, minerals, amino acids, enzymes, and phytonutrients so the body will heal itself. And yes, the body does have the ability to balance blood pressure, balance cholesterol, clean and unclog the arteries. It can also work on balancing the circulation for diabetics. So the body is an amazing thing. It simply needs some help, so it has the tools to heal itself.
Heart and Body Extract gets results. To order your 2-month supply, call now, toll-free at 866-295-5305. Order online at hbextract.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists, get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet anything that is thy neighbor.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw. Want to know more about Wall Street Raw and the Leibovit VR newsletters? Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com.
Hi, Mark. This is Paul Langley, CEO of iInsureMe. Thank you for inviting me to your show. In just a moment, I'll share with you why we call the opportunity with iInsureMe the most common sense approach to building a true, long-lasting residual income. But first, I want to talk briefly about financial goals. Having been in the financial planning arena for the last 20 years, I've come to the conclusion that when it comes to financial goals, we all have basically the same idea. We'd like to grow our assets to the point where they can generate income sufficient to sustain our lifestyle, whether we choose to continue working or not. The more traditional route would include 401ks, IRAs, IULs, real estate, anything where a person would contribute funds, typically on a regular basis, to purchase assets with the hopes that those assets grow in value and hopefully enough to outpace inflation. Then there's what I like to call the entrepreneurial route. This is where somebody builds a business that at some point can either become self-sustaining, producing an ongoing income, without the direct involvement of the business owner, or where the business can grow large enough such that the business owner can sell it for a profit. Under this business umbrella, we find everything from brick-and-mortar businesses like insurance agencies, accountants, and attorneys. You've got franchises that include fast food, carpet cleaning, education, just about anything you can imagine. And then finally, under this umbrella, we find all sorts of home-based businesses. Without going into a lot of detail, I think it's fair to say that there's a lot of garbage out there in this final category. People touting incredible, almost unbelievable income claims, marketing products that do everything from curing heart disease and cancer to losing weight by eating candy. Now, you may laugh at that last one, but it actually exists. I'm not here to say what works and what doesn't work, but I think most people would agree with me that the majority of home-based business opportunities are filled more with hype than with any realistic way of building an asset to create an ongoing income, what people in the home-based business world commonly call residual income. There's a phrase I've coined called the business litmus test question. It's what allows a person to determine if an opportunity is truly a viable option for creating that ever-elusive residual income, or if it's nothing more than just a money game. Here's the question. Would anybody purchase this product or service at its current price, even if there were no opportunity involved? In other words, is this a consumer-driven opportunity or a hype-driven opportunity? At InsureMe, we show people how to take a mandatory expense and turn that into a growing residual income. There are an estimated 89 million homeowners and 220 million drivers in the United States, the majority of which are required by law to have some form of insurance coverage. What some people may not know is that every month you make that insurance premium payment, your insurance agent is getting paid. This is probably the truest form of residual income that I've ever seen. Now, don't get me wrong. Being a home and auto insurance agent is not easy. You make little to no money in the first 2 to 3 years that you're in business. You get to deal with customers calling you at all hours of the day and night, and you get to handle mounds of paperwork. You see, the traditional agent will work 50 to 60 hours per week for 5 to 7 years to build that residual income. And quite frankly, most agents don't make it. But those who do make it have basically built their retirement. Would you work hard for 5 to 7 years if you knew you could retire at that point? I think most people would say yes until they try it. As the saying goes, if it were easy to do, everyone would do it. At InsureMe, we have structured a model that both simplifies and speeds up this process. We can show anyone exactly what it takes to build a full-time residual income in as little as 10 to 15 months, working about 5 to 10 hours per week. If you'd like to know how we do that, please get a pen and paper ready for a phone number that I'm going to give you. We have put together a 20-minute introduction video that explains all of the details of our program. If you like what you see, you'll be able to schedule a one-on-one phone consultation with one of our in-house representatives. To get a link to the video, please call our 24-hour message line at 520-485-0717. Again, that number is 520-485-0717. Everyone you know pays for home and auto insurance because they have to. Why not show them how to turn that expense into an income? It's been my pleasure to share with you the most common sense approach to building a true, long-lasting residual income with the InsureMe turnkey agency opportunity.
Thank you, Paul, for spending a few minutes discussing it. And this is an exciting program. I know many of our listeners are looking for income, alternate income, in addition to being in the quote-unquote stock market. We talk about a lot of opportunities here. That's what Wall Street Raw is about, looking at hard assets, looking at income property opportunities. Not all the money that you need to make or should be making is in the equity markets or in the banks, because there is risk there, as we've learned over the years. So when I see an opportunity like this, I got pretty excited about it. I'm going to be trying to get involved myself here, and am starting to get involved myself, because, as Paul said, you buy auto insurance or property casualty insurance, it's mandatory. Of course, if you own a property for cash, you probably don't have to do it, though you probably want property and casualty insurance anyway in case there's any problems. I know mortgage companies require that of people, and certainly automobile you're required to do so. So when you think about selling this to individuals as something they really have to have, and there really isn't an option, and for yourself, you can generate a commission on those sales, and why not do it? And what Paul's organization has is all the backup that you need. You don't have to provide quotes. They have offices, I think they're in Montana, if I'm not mistaken, where they handle, or Idaho, they handle all the calls for you. You submit the inquiries, a lot of backup and support for you. You don't need a physical office, and they also cover, from what I understand, E&O insurance. So it's a passive way. You can work literally out of your home on the phone for a few hours a week among friends and family. You start with your own policy, submit it, and they represent about a dozen or so insurance companies, and if the bid is as good or better than you're getting now, why not consider doing it for your own policy, because then you can generate a bit of a cash flow for yourself. Just something to think about. So call 520-485-0717. That's 520-485-0717 for information, and mention Wall Street Raw and get some information on the I Insure Me program. We'll be back in just a moment on segment 4. We're going to go over the Pessimist Guide to the World in 2016.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week Elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. Here, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market tsunami, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free Vice News Raw report. You will receive it weekly, and it is totally free. No credit card information is required, and no one will call. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw report at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com for your free weekly report from Mark Leibovit and WallStreetRaw.com.
Are you sneezing, coughing, and aching? Do you have a sore throat, a fever, or the sniffles? There's no reason to be sick this cold and flu season with immune system support from Supernatural Silver. Supernatural Silver can give your body the help it needs to fight off harmful pathogens without hurting beneficial gut flora and without leaving behind resistant bacteria. Antibiotics can damage good microflora and often leave behind bacteria which can cause problems later on. If you're sick of being sick, try Supernatural Silver. Supernatural Silver, the #1 choice of thousands for a safe and effective way to protect against the many diseases and illnesses that we are facing today. Go to supernaturalsilver.com, read our customer reviews, and see the life-changing results that people are having. That's supernaturalsilver.com. Supernaturalsilver.com. Use the promo code PROTECTED for 20% off your entire order. And like us on Facebook. Supernatural Silver.
My dad was 59 when he collapsed from a heart attack late last year. just this past August was when we spread his ashes on the St. Croix River. I loved my dad, but boy was he stubborn. He hadn't been to the doctor in over 25 years. His excuse? He simply couldn't afford it. He wasn't a rich man by any means. At less than $107 per month, LibertyOnCall.org would have been the perfect alternative for my father. Don't wait. Go to LibertyOnCall.org right now, for not just your sake, but for the sake of your loved ones. Again, that's LibertyOnCall.org.
We all know that Berkey Water Purification Systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at GoBerkey.com. That's GoBerkey.com today.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pileski of the Pileski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
There is no freedom without the law.
Get it? Got it? Good.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw and the final segment with Mark Leibovit. Now, here's the elf himself.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw, and we're going to take a look here. Now, it's still early in 2016, and my annual forecast model is available, VR Forecaster. Go to vrtrader.com for more information on that. But looking at possibilities during the course of the year, we're going to go through a few here, and let's call it the pessimist's guide to the world in 2016. What if crude oil suddenly took off just at a time when everybody thinks it's going to zero? Let's say Islamic State decides to launch attacks on strategic infrastructure of oil-producing nations across the Mideast. And let's say Saudi Arabia and other OPEC members are unable to produce production to offset the disruptions. So the price of oil, instead of continuing to sink, spikes to $100 a barrel. The rise also stops the U.S. Fed tightening cycle in its tracks and plunges China into a recession. And the nuclear industry gets a lift, as do renewable energy companies in the solar, wind, and the power industry. What if the UK decides to leave the Economic Union, the European Union? Well, eager to end the uncertainty over Britain's future in the European Union, Prime Minister David Cameron calls a referendum in June earlier than many anticipated, and a newly appointed Prime Minister Johnson then begins exit talks, seeking to stay within the free trade bloc. Global banks and hedge funds move their operations abroad, and manufacturers soon follow. A long recession looms as investors wait on the sidelines to see what a post-EU Britain would look like. So what happens? The pound slumps. The FTSE 100, their version of the Dow, crashes. The BOE Governor Mark Carney is forced to raise interest rates to stem capital flight, and Scotland's decision to hold another independence referendum accentuates a slide in UK bonds. Let's assume banks are hit by a cyber attack this year. Let's say Russian and Iranian hackers joined forces to launch a series of debilitating cyber attacks on the U.S. financial sector in response to American sanctions on their home countries. The Iranians launched destructive attacks against trading platforms. Russians manipulate the overnight electronic settlement system, shattering confidence in stock values and trades. Confidence in the financial system is undermined as lenders are forced to limit withdrawals. The Fed is forced to backpedal on further rate increases. So the bottom line, the dollar drops. Financial stocks, deluged by insurance claims, take a beating. High-end New York real estate rallies as investors pile into safe brick-and-mortar assets. Gold soars as investors seek safety. Cyber companies that specialize in cybersecurity see their prices skyrocket amid the fear and confusion. Let's say the EU crumbles under anti-immigration fears. A series of Paris-style terrorist attacks in European cities combined with overwhelming influx of refugees triggers a political crisis in the 28-nation bloc. German Chancellor Angela Merkel is forced to resign as her welcome to refugees exceeds the enthusiasm of her compatriots. At the same time, France's Marine Le Pen leads a wave of region-wide populism that panders to xenophobic and economic fears threatening the end of Europe's open borders. The prospect of eventually becoming president of France draws closer. So the bottom line, bonds of troubled countries such as Greece and Portugal plummet after governments balk at economic demands by Merkel's successor. The market turmoil pushes Greece out of the euro. German bonds rise as Germany enters a new phase of political instability, and Greece's exit sparks a rush to guess who will be next. The euro also plunges on heightened concern about the viability of a single currency. Let's talk about China economy falling and their military rising. China's economic condition proves to be much more worse in health than official statistics suggest. Job riots break out in some manufacturing hubs. China clamps down further on social media and starts looking for populist distractions. Under a new president, the U.S. sails more warships into disputed waters in the South China Sea and lends support to a new anti-Beijing government in Taiwan, and China threatens military action. So the bottom line, the tensions lead to a maritime standoff that disrupts shipping and air travel. Stock markets drop across Asia. Oil prices spike as seaborne supply is disrupted, and shares of U.S. defense companies jump, as do China-based defense stocks. Israel attacks Iran's nuclear facilities. That's another possibility. With President Barack Obama as a lame duck and the U.S. distracted by presidential election, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu shows his fear of the Iranian nuclear deal by ordering an attack on the atomic facilities. The move further inflames Middle East already in turmoil, and the Iran Accord collapses. So in this scenario, oil spikes, gold surges, new trade deals with Iran are put on ice, hurting European oil majors the most. Israel stocks plunge, defense stocks rally on expectation of more military spending. Putin sidelines America. Russian President Vladimir Putin outfoxes Obama by orchestrating a transition of power in Syria as part of a regional agreement to smash the Islamic State. The agreement staunches the flood of refugees into Western Europe, taking the pressure off Germany as Merkel and other European leaders. Ultimately, Putin gets what he wants. He establishes a new foothold in the Middle East. He expands Russia's influence beyond the former Soviet Union's borderlands, and he gets Europe, Russia's largest trading partner, to start moving beyond the crisis in Ukraine. So the bottom line is ruble and Russian stocks rally. European food stocks rally after Russia drops their import embargo, and German stocks rise as the lifting of sanctions boosts exports. Climate change heats up. Despite the climate deal reached in Paris, the planet enters another year of record-breaking heat. In the U.S., the drought in California halts Silicon Valley's expansion, and the worst winter in decades forces the new president to call it in the state of emergency. So what we get here, soft commodities surge, emerging markets that had shown signs of a spark are plunged into recession, and reinsurance stocks plunge. Trump wins the U.S. presidency. Make America great again. Okay? In this scenario, Donald Trump wins the presidential nomination and takes the November general election. He vows to put in motion his plans to revamp the U.S. tax code, toughen immigration policy, especially against Muslims and Mexicans, and expand the American armed forces. In his election night victory speech, the billionaire real estate mogul reiterates his vow to declare China a currency manipulator and aggressively pursues economic espionage, stoking tensions with Beijing. Other promises he swears to keep: building a fence across the almost 2,000-mile border with Mexico, that infamous wall, deploying drones and 25,000 agents for surveillance. Fees on temporary visas issued to Mexicans are to be raised, and remittance payments deemed illegal to be confiscated. So in this scenario, the dollar falls, gold rises, the Mexican peso falls on Trump's immigration pledge, U.S. defense companies surge on the prospect of increased military spending, Shares of private equity firms slip on the possibility that Trump may persuade Congress to end a break for carried interest as part of his bid to overhaul the tax system. All these folks are hypothetical, of course. These are all potential things that happen in 2016. And doesn't mean stocks can't rally during the course of this year and also have a further slump. But these are just, again, hypothetical things that I call outlier events. And we've seen this happen time and time again. And we just saw it even in the financial front. Now, these are not so much all financial transactions, though many are. But look what happened with negative interest rates this year with Japan and just recently with Sweden and before that with Germany. And the sudden action on the part of the Fed to raise rates and the sudden reaction of the stock market when it sold off dramatically this year out of the blue, supposedly creating a bear market when nobody was expecting a bear market except us here at vrtrader.com and other notable technical analysts who saw that risk coming. So, with all that said, here we are in 2016. So let's see how it all unfolds. Meanwhile, again, as a reminder, please, if you're in the New York area, the Traders Expo, February 20th to 23rd at the Marriott Marquis Hotel, where I'll be holding a couple workshops and also exhibiting. And a little bit further down the road there, a week or so later, March 2nd to 5th at the Disney's Contemporary Resort is the Money Show, where I'll also be presenting a couple of workshops and exhibiting, so it should be a lot of fun. And we're going to be talking about the state of the markets. We're going to be talking about my VR indicator, my book, and all the newsletters. So there'll be a lot of stuff to cover at both of these events. And hopefully you'll continue to tune into the Wall Street Raw radio show. And as I say every week this time, my good friend Ed Hart at FNN used to remind us, we will know in the fullness of time. Stay tuned. Thank you for tuning in to Wall Street Raw.
Thank you for listening to Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week Alpha, Mark Leibovit. If you missed any of today's show or to get in touch with Mark, please go to WallStreetRawRadio.com. Any stocks or investment discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. We first recommend you seek out a licensed financial professional for advice. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. At WallStreetRaw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market crash, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of the Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free weekly Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free Gold News Raw report. You will receive both weekly, and both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.